everyone. Welcome to Shelly Saves the Day. I'm here. My name is Shelly, and if yours is too, that would be awesome. It would be a meeting of the Shelly minds. But for anyone else who's here, like Adam's Exploits, whose name isn't Shelly, I'd love to know. I have a question for you, and that question is, of course, the ever important, what's in your cup? So today I would love to know what's in your cup. I'm going to let you know what's in my cup. Today what I have, by the way, look, today I am rocking, because my Stanleys are being washed currently. So I am into the Yeti today, and we are doing, for the ASMR folks. That's the ice cubes in there. So if you have tried the liquid IV, can I get a little yes I have, or a hand raise emoji, anything like that? Because I am a fan of liquid IV, first of all, but my favorite flavor that they've come out with is this tart green apple kombucha type of thing that they got going on, and it's delicious, and I love it. By the way, I found out, I didn't even know that this was still active as a code. I have a code with liquid IV from like years ago that I didn't even know was still active, but if you use Shelly Saves the Day, you can save money on liquid IV. Pixel P is not drinking coffee. That is a surprise. And then Adam's Exploits is doing Polar Black Cherry Sparkling Water. It is. So it looks like, like powdered, Gatorade or powder drink mix, like the lemonade mix-ins. And you pour it in. I like to do mine with like triple the amount of water that they recommend, just because I feel like the flavor is so strong. Because I think they're like, oh yeah, in 10 ounces of water. And I'm like, no, in like 30 ounces of water, okay? But their big claim to fame is that they help you not be as like dehydrated as fast. It's kind of like Gatorade, where they have like, the electrolytes and things that plants crave type of thing, to help you, stay hydrated, especially, in the hotter months. It's very important. All right. So I have a topic today that I want to chat with y'all about. I'm really low on this screen, huh? Hold on. Is that better? That's a little better, because it was bothering me. And so what triggered this was, if you don't know, I am a fan of the Try Guys. Okay. Originally there were 4, then there were 3 after one of them. And we did an entire live stream on it, on why I thought the reaction that the Try Guys had to dismissing basically one of their founding members was like so appropriate, so timely, so well done in terms of everything that you see on YouTube and, the way of those types of videos could go. All right. Hey, Johnny Bean is also in the house. Great to see you. And so they've been riding a while with 3 Try Guys, but we all knew, I feel like it's this breakup that's been happening where this guy ghosts you for a year, but still says he's in the relationship with you. I don't know. I don't have personal experience with that or anything, but I think that's kind of how it feels. And so what they did today was make it more official that another person from the Try Guys original founding club has decided to part ways. And, everyone kind of knew it was coming. He's been doing a lot of his own different projects. He's been, writing, directing, dancing, doing all of these things, writing a book. The guy is busy, okay? And this is Eugene. And he just put out a video today, and actually, if you look in the description box of that same video, it actually was edited by him as well. And I just thought that the way that they did it was great, because they start with kind of like he's reading this what seems to be very awkward script, and then pan to the other 2 Try Guys, kind of like holding up these little signs with like, he's saying stuff like, Keith, you're so handsome, and now you'll be the best looking member of the Try Guys. That's stuff like that. So it was a funny little joke where they're all holding up little like cue cards, and then he does a very heartfelt type of goodbye, and it was very sincere. And honestly, one of the things that made me a little bit like super sad, one, he is talented in so many different ways. Okay, if you know Eugene, from the Try Guys, you know, the Try Guys are the, like, the personalities and whatnot. He, they very much played into the stereotypes, you know, like, type A personality, overachiever, Asian, good at everything, like, not hugely emotional on the surface with all of your feelings and expressing them, a desire to want to remain private and keep a lot of things like offline. So for me personally, I mostly, of the people that were in that original cast, I mostly identified with him. Also being like just physically that he was an Asian man in this like mostly white environment where they would kind of really always kind of play into these subtle jabs, not quite microaggressions, but kind of a little bit, you know, in a friendly but bantery type of way. But they would always say things like the overachiever, like the different things. And so I saw a lot of myself in him. And so it was one sad a little bit to see, you know, one of the, let's say, cast members who was, I'm not going to say checking a box because I have referred to myself in this way many times before at companies I would work at. I'd be like, oh, you get a 2-for-1. Like, I'm female, like I'm Asian, like, wow, look at you, look at, woo. But so in that similar type of vein, so we had an Asian, and which is somewhat unrepresented, or minority represented, pun intended. And also, it turned out that he ended up being, a member of the LGBTQ like community, and so there was also, I think, this added pressure on him. Now he's carrying the weight of these two separate groups that don't always intermingle that much, and so I think of a lot of the staff members or people that were on screen, he tended to be subjected to a lot of comments that sometimes the others would not, is the way that I guess I would most say that, because the other gentlemen were not outwardly expressing that they were part of those like communities, and you could, so I feel a personal sadness as well to see that happening, but also the Try Guys have come out kind of the way that the Watcher did as well, where they're saying they're basically not focusing as much on YouTube. They're introducing a new bunch of people as part of the cast members. Hopefully some are going to be, you know, other points of view and whatnot as well. And they're also launching a streaming service where a lot of their videos can live and live first and live without the same restrictions that they might find on YouTube. And one of the reasons that they cite is we could, obviously, because we worked at, you know, or was it Vice or wherever it was, where all of the people come from, like Sophia Nygaard and them and the Watcher and all of these channels that seem to spawn out of there. They know how to make a viral video. And they were saying at the end of the day, do we want to only make videos that we know will do well algorithmically, but leave us empty inside? Or do we want to make things that we're genuinely passionate and caring about, but know that sometimes a lot of our own audience isn't going to see it or be served it? And so they also decided that it might make the most sense for them at this time to launch this other kind of streaming service. Now, the reception to this seems to have gone over considerably better than what we have seen from what happened with The Watcher, even though, ironically, the price tier is the same at $4.99 a month, something like that. And it's an interesting dichotomy between how these two big major players in the online YouTube space have revealed kind of very similar things, right? Both successful, both wanting to go elsewhere as the main platform, both launching a streaming service that would cost an additional fee for their most loyal fans, and the different reactions. Now, I best believe I believe in my heart of hearts that they saw probably the backlash as the rest of the internet and world did about what happened with the Watcher. And I wonder if at any point they had already filmed their announcement and then after seeing the backlash, really thought about it and shot it again with either new talking points or just like stressing certain talking points. I'm just curious on that one. But it got me to thinking. There were like some of the series that we've done, like eat everything on the menu or try baking this without a recipe or things that they were really known for. They're like, we're still going to do them. We're just going to do them over here, but we're going to try and introduce some new series, which led me down the rabbit hole of thinking there have been a lot of times on the internet, YouTube and whatnot, where people have really tried to either reinvent themselves or reinvent their YouTube channel, which also got me thinking along the lines of what is the purpose of a YouTube channel and how long does a YouTube channel last? What is the lifespan, life cycle, general purpose of a YouTube channel? So that's really what I want to chat with y'all about, because once we can answer some of those questions, then I think the path forward for you, them, anybody, then becomes a little bit more clear, right? So number one, we've talked about this a lot, is gaining clarity on not only who you're speaking to, but why you're doing it, how you define success, right? So, Pixelpia, formerly a teacher, wants to keep exploring things, wants to talk to people about the things that she's learning, and, wants to build a community that way. And we know, so I wanted to bring up a few examples of this, right? Not only then pivoting a YouTube channel, which is possible to do, but a lot harder than just probably starting a new YouTube channel from the ground up, talking about kind of one thing, not just one thing, but when we talk about that niching, like we said before, we don't want to be stuck talking about one topic. We want to be but talking to one type of audience. And that's a way to not go crazy as a creator, because you're like, if I have to make one more iMovie tutorial, right? Not that you know anybody who's ever said that. If I have to make one more dang subscribe button animation video. So a few people came to mind when I was thinking about this. The first one being, I have a friend, her name is Kimberlea. She and I met 2016. We were doing beauty content, and she and I were both in the beauty community that was created by Ipsy, which was called Ipsy OS, which stood for Ipsy Open Studios. Ipsy was Michelle Phan's brainchild. Michelle Phan went on to, she was one of the first OG beauty YouTubers, period. She went on to do M Cosmetics. She's very big into Bitcoin and a few other things. But like no one had really done a lot of these makeup tutorials like she had. It was like impressive. She had decided that one of the ways that she wanted to give back to the beauty community was to, one, create a space where people could come in and have access to really nice lighting, really nice cameras, really nice sets, and you could basically book time at this studio. And it was like an open studio concept. You would just have to schedule it, but it didn't cost you anything. You had to bring your own costumes. You had to bring your own like extra set things. If you had signs, whatever tchotchkes you wanted to put on the background, and you had to bring your own memory card. Now this one was originally opened in California, but they had started a group and they had different size influencers in it. And that's actually how I got to know a lot of the girls that I met and went on these subsequent vacations with in Charleston and in New Orleans most recently this last year. This was all through Ipsy. Ipsy Open Studios, Ipsy OS is what we called it. And one of the people that I met during that time, her name was Julia Salvia. Okay, so her name always popped into my head because she was the glitter queen or something like that. And she had a beauty YouTube channel. I think she still does. And she would do like 30 looks for Halloween, all these kinds of fun things. And now she has pivoted. She has a couple of different things that she's I mainly see her on TikTok these days and Instagram. But she does a lot of like self-love and eat with me around like New Jersey. Like I think she calls it like Jersey Girl Food Diaries. And they both have like about the same amount of followers. But she went from beauty content only. She got burnt out on all of this makeup stuff. I know she did like these big declutters, and then she was like, I need to change some stuff in my life. And then she took herself off some PR lists, and she was like, I really want to be more intentional, and I want to go on this journey of like loving myself and document it. And so it became like the self-love creator. And so she did change directions and change her content. And that's just one example, right? And then my friend Kimberly, like I talked about, she was dabbling in beauty, just like I was dabbling in beauty. Hey, Chantel, good to see you. And for a while, she then, and so one thing about her is she went to law school. She graduated from law school, and so she has a Juris Doctorate degree, right? So typically one would go through law school and then go take the bar and, maybe go become a junior associate at some law firm. I think she did work for a while in the legal department of like a big shoe, like sportswear company. Anyways, I digress. So she was, oh no, here comes Mr. Wheezy. I apologize. We'll see how well he does, but I'm sitting here. I can't do anything. He's walking over here. So after that, she had started, I believe, documenting a couple things about while she was in law school. And then eventually it was like, oh, I'm hanging up these blinds in my house, and here's how I did it, these little IKEA stick-on ones. And then one day she's like, this is my favorite phone accessory. And if you know anything about phone accessories, you might know this little guy and what it's called. This guy right here pops out like this. And then he was used as a fidget spinner for a lot of people, right? This was, and then let me, here you go. I didn't even do it. This was a pop socket. I'm so sorry if that was too loud for some of you. This is a pop socket. Wasn't. I don't mean to say was. It still is. Okay. So it was a phone grip, a sticky phone grip that you put on, and then you could, easier one-hand texting or, selfie. A lot of it was sold to ladies. And we're like, no, it's easier to take selfies. Let me put some cute designs on it, right? So she made a video talking about how much she loved this thing, and that thing blew up. And so as you do, or as you're instructed to do by a lot of people, if you find something that hits, you make more of it. So she made a couple extra videos about like how to put one on, how to take it off, how to move it, how to, whatever. Okay. And here's where I'm going with this too. It's going someplace. Get on the train, folks. I swear we're going someplace. Okay. She became known as the pop sockets queen. Yeah. So before, and probably still even now, I don't know if any of those videos still exist, but you could not search the term pop sockets and not have one of her videos come up. Okay. And then she was like, well, I can't just talk about where to put it and position it. And then she made like, a video like, what if I popped 100, or what if I put them someplace else? But here is the problem when you become a niche by topic and not a niche by audience. If all they want to talk about is pop sockets, there's only a few, 20, 30 videos that you can make, and that is pushing it about pop sockets. Okay. So great. But how do you grow a channel to, let's say if channel growth is your main thing, how large can you grow a channel off of 20 or 30 pop socket videos, right? Because what else can you say about it? Like, let me show you the new designs. Let me show you how I pair it with my outfit. Let me show you how to take it off. Let me show you how to remove the lid, because they had like ones that were removable tops, and then you could switch them out for something else. Let me show you the one that has lip gloss. Let me show you how to put two, right? Or let me show you where it is best ideal to place it, right? After about those 10 videos, you're like, what am I going to say about this now, right? Let me show you how to design one. There, now we got to 10. So she decided, like, what can I do? And I remember talking with her one day. I was like, what if we just branch out into like accessories and all the adjacent other thing? And so for a while then it was like, here's this cool phone holder. And in fact, there was a company that had reached out to me. I think it was called Nuckies. No, that's not true. It was a different one. And I remember they reached out to me and said, will you make a YouTube video? And I was like, that's not really in my wheelhouse for like the topic at the time that I'm talking about on my YouTube channel, which at the time, Actually, it probably was. And I was like, you know what though? But I have a friend who's in tech accessories, and you should contact her. And I gave them her email, and I gave them my friend Zach from Zach Talks Tech. I gave him his email. Sorry. And so I think they both ended up getting some product and doing some videos with them, right? I love Chantel says, pop sockets make it so I can take photos with my tiny hands and my massive phone. It's a great tagline right there. The ad writes itself. So she decided, right, we're going to branch into accessories. Maybe I buy some stuff and I review some phone cases, right? And then it was like, well, I don't know if I want to talk about this. And then for a while, I know she had stopped talking about some of the accessories. I think she was even into some anti-MLM content. Okay. And then after the anti-MLM content, she found now what she's most passionate about and has been doing very well and been the most successful at, which is like this true crime, very long, drawn out, like hour and a half long podcast style type of, but deep dives into basically, you know, like people who unalive other. I don't know how to say that without, you know what I'm saying. You know, the true crime genre, there it is. Okay. So she's now into the true crime stuff, and she's really hit her stride with that. And it's nice because it takes into account a little bit of deep investigative, right? You got to go through all the archives. You got to go and catalog it all. You got to be able to either explain some of this stuff on like what happened afterwards, maybe why in the legal system it may have gone a certain way or not. I mean, there's just lots of stuff that you can cover and lots of interesting angles. But that's just one example. So she did all of those pivots. I wish I could insert that Friends meme, pivot, on one channel. Okay. So another friend of mine, El Jefe Reviews, many of you may know him, but he started out as kind of like a generalized tech channel. And then after a while, he became known as the headphone guy, right? So if you want to know anything about headphones, any headphone out there on the market, you talk to or you go see a video from El Jefe. But he pivoted into something that was his niche adjacent, but he's not talking about the cell phones anymore. Now he's really talking about these headphones. And so he kind of like killed off what was before what he was talking about, and there it is. Okay, so and that's the thing is sometimes it takes a lot of us a little bit of time to find our thing. So if we look at my friend Technically T, he was talking, you know, a lot about phones and electronics, which a lot of our, you know, people in the community end up doing. And then he really found his footing inside of like the case reviews, right? So anything you want to know about cell phone case, he's going to have a video on it now. And I bring this up to say that sometimes it takes a long time to find the different pivots. And so like my friend Kimberlea, who had pivoted 5 times, there's one thing. So I have a different acquaintance / friend that I know. Her name is Jen. She has a YouTube channel called The Sewing Report. And what's so funny about that is I came across one of her videos randomly on TikTok. And I was like, what is this? Because Jen was talking about purses. And I was like, cool. I didn't know she was talking about purses. And then I saw the username because I just recognized the face. And then I was like, whoa, this username is not a username that I know, but I know that face. I'm like, what's going on here? So I looked at it and it was a whole new like account. And I was like, oh. So I go click on the associated YouTube channel. And now I find that she has a secondary YouTube channel and it's all about purses, fashion, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm like, wait a second, what? So I scrolled back to the oldest video. I'm like, how long has she been doing this? And I just didn't know. And the oldest video took me into something else because this was on a YouTube channel that's like 13 years old. So it's like, wait a second. And so I start like going backwards, you know, through the videos. And then I'm like, whoa, hold the phone. I recognize this video topic from something else, and it still had the title of her old channel name in it at the time, which was Jen Talks Forever. So I was like, wait a second, I know this channel, it's Jen Talks Forever, which was talking all about her being an ex-CNN news reporter, associate producer, and then finding her way over to YouTube and how she carries over these skills. And different things like living in Florida, selling a house, downsizing, and it was all these different things. And I was like, this is the Jen Talks Forever YouTube channel. And now it's this fashion channel. And I was like, well, one, good for her for exploring this new realm. But it just kind of like struck me for a second. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. People are pivoting all the time and seeing stuff, right? And so here we have the Try Guys being like, we're going to pivot. We're not going to do exactly all the same stuff that you have. We're not going to have the same cast that we had before, right? And we're going to be in a new place. And then it made me wonder, like, how much change is too much change at one time, sometimes for some YouTube channels? I'm not quite sure. I don't know what that limit is. But it also then brought me back to thinking about my YouTube channel. So similar to my friend Kimberlea, right? We have, let's say, I used to dabble a little bit in beauty. And then it was, I used to dabble a little bit in technology. And then it was, I dabble a bit in video editing. And then it's, I dabble a little bit inside of cowboy boots. Someone asked me the other day if I should just make a YouTube channel about cowboy boots. And I was like, listen, one, I would go broke because I would be like, obviously, I need more boots if we're going to have an entire channel. And Old Gringo has yet to hit me up for a sponsorship. And I tell you what, if Old, buddy, this is important. If Old Gringo wanted to hit me up and say, once a month, we will send you a pair of boots and you can wear them and keep them and you just have to talk about them and like different, you know how many videos I'd be like, I'm going to be posting all kinds of shorts with me dancing in these because like, hello, I'm on a country western dance team wearing boots all the time. Are you kidding me? Old Gringo, hit a girl up. We will make the Old Gringo YouTube channel, but like not the corporate one. We will make one like Shelly and Old Gringo takes on the world type of. I can never clip this out and send it to Old Gringo now because old man McGee over here just ruined the whole take, okay? 1 second. Listen. If Old Gringo ever comes and hears anything about this, it would be a miracle. Okay. I know. So, where we have landed now is that a lot of times people will try to pivot on a YouTube channel, or perhaps if they want to, they might open a new YouTube channel, of which I have a lot of experience with that, right? We had one, you guys don't, maybe you do know, it was about food. It was going to be things that I cooked for me and my husband, so it was going to be called, like, it's already deleted now, so don't go look for it. It was one of the ones that I closed down in my digital declutter, but it was called Table for Two, because, like, there's just the two of us and we're eating. So I figured if we go out to a restaurant and it's a table for two and then I film what we're eating, I could talk about that. Or if I'm cooking at home for the two of us and I film it, it's a table for two, right? Kind of cute. So there was that. There was, because I wanted to share all these different sides of my life with apparently the internet and the world. But, right, we had the music channel. Do we still have the music channel? No, I think I shut that one down too, right? Because one, I was a little bit always afraid I'm going to get not just a copyright claim on each one of my videos, which every single one was claimed, right? But an actual copyright strike or something. And I didn't want it to be associated with the same YouTube channel and the email. And so I was just like, no, we're just going to shut this one down. And I can just live stream on TikTok, which I still do once a week on Sunday nights for Sad Song Sunday. And then, for a while, I think y'all know, I did that automated shorts channel just to experiment. Did we shut that one down? Well, we stopped posting on it. We should shut it down. So we had that one. You're the best. You feel better now? You feel better? You don't have to choke anymore? We also had, when I say we, I mean me, but I'm sharing this experience with you, so I say we. What else did we have? We had the... Goodness. And if you look now, even my Shelly Nathan channel is just a smorgasbord of all the stuff that I can't get to figure out on any of my other channels. What is this? Not doing your Sunday show anymore makes sense. What do you mean? Not doing this? I still do the Sunday show. Yeah, every Sunday I still do my Sad Song Sundays. I just don't do it on TikTok. I'm sorry, I just don't do it on YouTube. I do it on TikTok and technically Twitch. So if that's what you mean. Oh my goodness, you're a good boy. Are you tired? You've had 3 walks today. It's been a very productive day for him poop wise, okay? It's been a big day. It's just because, I'm sorry, I'm talking about you. It's just because every single time we go out to walk, he demands that we feed him right after. So he has learned, I go for a walk, I come back in, I get food. So now he demands, weird, to have to keep walking. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because then every time we go walking, he has to go potty because he's eating so much more. I'm talking about you and I love you so much. Okay, don't be mad. So I don't do TikTok. Yeah, it's on Twitch. So yeah, don't worry. Well, copyright's everywhere, technically. So, okay. Now, what were we talking about? Yes, the purpose of a YouTube channel, right? Sometimes not all YouTube channels are meant to last forever. I know. And I have learned that lesson. I have lived that lesson on my own, right? There are many YouTube channels that fizzle out and die. There are many YouTube channels that you delete because it doesn't align with what you want to talk about or who you are at your core anymore. So there are some YouTube channels that create and exist for only a short amount of time on purpose. So this is, I am doing prep for medical school and I'm documenting my process for these 4 years, right? It's not meant to live on after that, and people may be doing it so that they can keep up with their family, give them updates without having to do each individual phone call. You can just put it out, you get free video storage, there you go. Sometimes they're just sending out unlisted videos. Sometimes it's made public for the world, but something like that. I'm going to law school. I'm going to college. I'm going to whatever. I'm documenting my experience. It's only meant for lasting that long. It might be some sort of political thing where it's like for this 4 years or 2 years, or maybe it's only there for 4 years because of the Olympics or something cyclical that's happening in the world or / life. So sometimes you see YouTube channels like that, or this is a YouTube channel I've created because we're doing everything leading up to the wedding or something like that. Then there are some YouTube channels that, lie dormant because you, the person and creator / have really not always outgrown, but just grown tired sometimes of the topic or the audience. So I know that may sound weird or / mean, but as an example, let's just say, if you were someone, let's say like JoJo Siwa, I'm not saying that this is her, go with me here. If you're someone like JoJo Siwa and you are famous from a very young age for something like Dance Moms and the big bow on your head, and then she used to sell the little bows and stuff like that, right? She has a very specific audience at one point that she was talking to. Stanley. His name is Stanley, I think is who you're talking about. Yeah. Feel free to dish. And so as she grows up, maybe breaks away from Abby Lee Dance, maybe doesn't want to sell the bows anymore, has since come out with having a girlfriend and making music that is new and maybe some dance moves that people aren't cool with. Maybe she doesn't want the same 8-year-olds following her that she had before. Right? So there are times when you may be doing something to separate and break yourself off from a persona or something that you want to also get away from. And so it's very, very possible then that you're trying to physically, emotionally, and everything, separate yourself from that. So you may abandon some sort of channel, even if it was successful, just so you can start anew with something fresh. So there's that. Right? Oh my goodness. I can't believe he's letting me hold him here. He's not cuddly and he's not cuddling me, but he's not fighting me tooth and nail to get down. This is quite the feat. This is quite the feat. I think maybe in your old age, maybe you're not starting to dislike me as much outwardly. So a YouTube channel, then, as you're trying to define what your purpose is and what your audience, who your audience is, you may find also then that the platform is not something that you want to continue being on. So as was the Try Guys, as was the Watcher people, where they're like, we don't want to be here. Or, goodness, happens maybe you want to be on that platform, but that platform bans you. Which I know Perez Hilton has been banned on some I think it was TikTok. And then he was like on his knees begging. He's like, please give me back my account. Please give me back my account. But in some of those instances, that doesn't help anything. So when you no longer have access to your audience, that I think is going to be very difficult for a lot of these creators. And so one of the reasons that I say that is, let's say you're someone like him on TikTok. There's a very large audience over there, but let's just say, we all know that it's not going to be anytime soon because they have, at worst, a year and a half to either sell this company, do the lawsuits, whatever, to have ByteDance sell to either an American party, get through the lawsuit, have it overruled, or you know what I'm saying. So if that platform shuts down and it's just gone, now he's starting to wiggle. If those creators, which many of them are very young, if those creators have never created an email list, created some other social media presence, they're going to have a very hard time. End of sentence, period. They're going to have a very hard time, especially if they rely on that audience to do things like buy things or subscribe to things that cost money or support them monetarily in some sort of way. And wasn't it nice, though, for the few minutes when I was holding him that he wasn't greeting us with the songs of his people? Okay. So, as we continue on, Chantal says, it's a bit like Miley Cyrus. She needed to change things up and step away from Disney. Absolutely. And we all saw what happened when she stopped being Hannah Montana and she really stepped into what she stepped into at the time, right? By the way, I love like her sound and what she's coming back now. And I think she looks great now. And, but there was a while where I think everyone was just kind of like, whoa, what's happening here? Just kind of like the Britney Spears stuff or, just in general. Just in general, okay. So, oh, he's exiting the room. We'll see how long it remains. Are there YouTube channels that are only meant to last for a certain amount of time, right? And one of the reasons, there are channels that you may find as a comfort where then many years later you're like, oh, I see that you're still making the same type of content and I'm not that age anymore. I need to talk about more adult things, more grown-up things. So when I think about this, I think about some of the girls that were inside of like this Asian girl vlog squad type of thing. So this is like the Remy Cruz, Alicia, and Lord DIY. Okay. So Lord DIY, cute little young thing. She made a lot of, they did the oversaturated pinks and pastels and everything of that age, but she made a lot of DIY tutorials, as was the whole Lord DIY. It's literally in the title of the YouTube channel. And a lot of the time it was then like back to school, but then people didn't want to see like a 23-year-old making back to school type of things because it started to border on like weird, right? It's like, it's not even college back to school, like, because your audience is like 10, right? Like, it's weird. And so there was a weird, I think, time where then they've talked about, like just themselves. And they're like, I never like swore on my channel. It was all very family friendly. And I think of like the same with Rosanna Pansino with Nerdy Nummies at that time. And then they're like, sometimes I drop the F-bomb. Sometimes I want to talk about a boyfriend or adult relationships, or sometimes I'm going to be drinking, and that's not what my audience wants to see. So some of them have their own vlog channels. A couple of them created like a new podcast. One was like Wild Till 9 or something like that, because it's like your 9 to 5 and then it was like wild time after that. And so they could talk about more adult things. And then what they started to see was when they could let loose, be a little bit more authentically themselves and not Disney Channel-ified so much, then their audience actually started to come back and say things like, oh my gosh, like I grew up with you. I just couldn't watch your stuff anymore because it just was the same as when I was like 10. You know what I mean? And so they were holding themselves hostage by what they thought that their audience was going to like turn against them for, when in reality, a lot of the audience that had grown up with them, they were like, well, we've grown up, but these people haven't. So we got to go. And once they started realizing that they were also maturing, also talking about more age appropriate things, their audience came back and they were like, we want to talk about these things with you, especially like we feel like we've known you for years and years and years, but we felt like, if anything, we had nothing in common with you anymore because you never talked about this kind of stuff. And so their lifespan of their channel, where they were thinking of still only catering to like what is good for up to a 12-year-old, and maybe not even purposefully just being like, what can I talk about with 12-year-olds? But like then maturing into like, oh, I'm making wedding content because I just got engaged. You know, those kinds of things are like, oh, we did this thing. It was a money grab. I know that. I shut down that business and here's the lessons I learned from it. Those were more mature and interesting conversations that a lot of their audience wanted to hear from them. And once they kind of let go of the facade of what they thought that they could talk about, it actually ended up being a lot better for them and their mental health as well, because they could swear if they want to. They could talk about the things they want to, and they enjoyed it much more immensely. And I wonder how many people who have these YouTube channels are possibly stuck doing the same types of things only because they feel that that's what the audience is only going to allow from them. So if it's the Try Guys, it's only Keith eats everything on the menu, well then you have to just keep finding restaurants. But then even though it's the same format, it gets a little boring, because if you don't have the comedic relief of the other person, or, you know, crazy combinations, it's just someone doing a mukbang and like overeating themselves, and it's not that great. So I think one of the most interesting like foodie talk shows is an interview where like Sean from the Spicy Hot Wing show, where he's interviewing all these peoples, because it's fascinating, because if it's a big movie star or like a big YouTuber, we love that we get to see them, one, in pain, two, answering like difficult and intense questions, and three, he's a very good interviewer. And so there's so many different parts of that can still be interesting. I could be interested in Scarlett Johansson. I could be interested in the questions. I could actually be interested in hot sauce and how people reacted to it. There's a little something for everyone. And so if you're going to do it, that is the kind of way to do that each show. But then if you just have Keith eat everything at Taco Bell, it's like, okay, but then everything remains on Keith to be funny and to find the moments that are funny, if you don't have some other thing, you know what I'm saying? But then it also becomes a little thing, because it's like, okay, yeah, we've seen him eat at a restaurant. We've seen him be sick. We've seen Zach, who's lactose intolerant, eat a lot of ice cream, right? And then the audience is like, we've seen that, and becomes like, I need something more extreme. I need something else. Otherwise, it's not going to be enticing to want to watch it. And so all of a sudden now they're just making these in a hamster wheel, trying to chase the views of what was a really viral video or maybe a unique idea at the time. And now they're like, I don't even want to eat everything on the menu. I don't want to do this type of video anymore. I want to do these other videos. So let's see here. Brittany's having some issues. She just posted the whole Disney stuff that has happened to so many young men and women. It's disgusting and caused irreparable damage to many of those people, from Jeanette McCurdy to like a lot of them, to Britney Spears, to, I mean, just a lot of them. Demi Lovato, Christina Aguilera, what they did to Jessica Simpson, even though she didn't even make Mouseketeers. It's disturbing. And the ones that actually did make it, like, people are out here making, we're going on a scroll tangent now, but people are out here making fun or calling Amanda Bynes crazy, when I'm like, okay, so what do you think happens to you when you don't have people looking out for you? And at the age of 12, you are assaulted by your producer / boss and forced to not have a pregnancy come to fruition when you are 12, and think that that's not going to mess you up for the rest of your life, and have to continually work with them and be held under their thumb and then need to go out and find a little bit of freedom on your own. That's what most of those Disney girls did, right? What did Demi Lovato do? She went and found freedom in a lot of drugs. And, you know, and Britney, she went out and she did stuff, right? And I think that those companies should be, like, honestly held responsible for ruining the lives of many, many people. And where were not only the parents who shouldn't have only been relying on the children to be their meal tickets, but where was the actual regard for their health and safety and mental capacities and, you know, working hours? Like, who was protecting their literal children? Who was protecting these children? And now, are we really surprised that we put them in all of these positions and then they end up in their adult life a little bit not as well tuned or as adjusted as maybe some of the other people? When you are the main breadwinner in your house at the age of 14 or 16, you know, like, don't get me started on that. So, hi, Shelly. How are things going with you? It's going all right, Open Space. How are things going with you? Thanks for being here, by the way, everyone. So, yeah, sometimes the lifespan of a YouTube channel, right? So I have thought about this personally because, like I said, I have personally sunsetted many YouTube channels because some were an experiment and they served their purpose, and I learned what I wanted to learn and I shut it down. Sometimes I feel like this YouTube channel, I'm going to be 100% honest with you right now. Sometimes I feel like it would be easier if I ripped the Band-Aid off and I shut down this YouTube channel and just went full in on something else from the ground up. Because I wonder, because I look at my friend Kimberly and I'm like, wow, you pivoted, you know, and you did it successfully on your main YouTube channel, but it took a long time and you grinded, and sometimes that is the exception and not the rule. And sometimes you are left kind of just like head scratching, because my husband, I think I've told you all, like, he started a YouTube channel. He just had his best week ever with like 1,000 subscribers joining this week. Happy for him. Love him. A little jealous. No, a lot jealous. And I was like, you gained more subscribers in 1 week than I gained in all of the last 3 years. And it really sent me down a tailspin for a minute. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing here on this platform? Is it time to sunset this YouTube channel and try something else? And that's a hard pivot. It's a hard question. And it's a hard, like, there's a part of me that is so stubborn that I'm like, this is my YouTube channel and I should be able to do whatever I want with it. Right? But then there's also like, girl, you've been doing this or pivoting or trying to do something unsuccessfully. And we know the definition of insanity. And maybe if you just put the nail in the coffin and try something else, try one of these other YouTube channels and just go full force with it and only focus on that and put your head down and do the work for the next 6 years or whatever it is, you will get to the same place that this YouTube channel is, plus better, plus far surpassing. And so it just really made me think, is YouTube forever? When do you pull the plug? When do you say enough is enough? Or like, I've learned my lesson. Thank you so much. You know, I'm done with this for now. And I've had similar thoughts every once in a while. I think y'all have known that, even when it comes to my own business, right? And for a while it was like, maybe I really want to do this. You know, at the beginning it was like, I want to prove to people that I can do it. And then it was like, well, I've been doing it for a year now, or I've been doing it for a year and a half. And I'm like, is my life significantly better? Would it be significantly better if I shut it down, right? Or would it be coming across as a failure if I did that? And I worry about that too, about, let's say if I shut down this main YouTube channel, and I'm like, would I just come across as this failure, as this person? Or should, you know, how does that look from the outside? And then I'm currently reading, when I say reading, I say audiobook, this book, which is The Courage to Be Disliked. What would we do in our life if, because a lot of what we don't do in our life is because of our fear of what other people think about us, and then we project it onto ourselves as well. What do I mean? It means, like, in the grand scheme of things, if you lived on an island by yourself and there were no other humans in the world and it was just you on this island, what things would you care about, and what things would you have certain feelings for in a certain way? right? Because a lot of what we feel is what we maybe internally feel other people think about us, and then we project that. And so we're like, oh, other people will think I'm a failure. Other people, I'm not as successful as blank. But if there are no other humans in the world to compare yourself to, are you not successful because there's no guide or specific measurement? And so when they say about this whole comparison is the thief of joy thing, right? It's not just I made a video, I made a YouTube thing, I accomplished this feat. It became, well, I did this thing, but it wasn't as good as this person's. I didn't gain as many subscribers as this person. I didn't X, I didn't Y. But what's funny is if it wasn't for the comparison of all the other things that all the other people are doing, and we were by ourselves on the island, we probably wouldn't be feeling that specific kind of way about it. So it's actually our own internalized shame, fear, comparison that's actually bringing us down more so than anything else. And so don't quote me on that because I'm not all the way through this book, but it's posed as basically, I'm not going to say a monk, but like a scholar, a philosopher, and then a student. Okay. And the only reason it's posed this way is so that they can kind of create this conversation that happens between these two types of ideological different realms, the believer of what they're saying and what they're trying to teach you, and then the person who is the skeptic who has come to disprove what this philosopher is talking about. He's like, I believe that everyone is good and everyone is capable of change and all these things, right? And then you have this younger student being like, I'm going to prove you wrong and I'm going to argue all your points and I'm going to tell you all of these things. And so that's how they pose this conversation. So the conversation in the book is called The Courage to be Disliked. So I'm listening to it on Libby right now. So I'm probably only like a quarter of the way through, maybe. But it's an interesting take because if we remove ourselves from the outward and we really put ourselves in a vacuum and we ask the question, why are we doing this? Why are we here? And this is going to be anything in your life, but also personally right now, this is me talking about YouTube, my business, all this stuff. And I'm like, who are you doing it for? Who are you, like not trying to impress, but like, who do you think is going to say something to you or what, So I had said in the past, I was like, well, I don't know if it would totally affect me right now if I kept the thing going or if I didn't, but I feel a personal responsibility because someone is relying on me for their paycheck so that they can live in an apartment, right? So they can have independence, all this stuff. But I'm like, but if they told me tomorrow that they didn't want to do this job anymore and I worked out the last of the few contracts that we have, I think I could shut it down and feel fine with it because it's not something that sets my soul on fire. It's just something that I'm capable of doing. Does that make sense? And so I don't know if it's an illusion or not that there are things in this world that are gonna set your soul on fire. And then when you find it, you just sink your teeth into it and never let go. Because I haven't found that thing in 40 something years in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, am I just someone who perpetually is in a state of, I don't care enough about this to go and care enough about this? Or is it truly that I haven't found my thing yet? And then I'm like, wow, look at all these people who have found their thing and successfully are achieving it and they seem happy with their lives, which we all know that social media and other things cast all kinds of beautiful filters on what people's real lives look like. But then you are like, in comparison, you're like, do I just not have a thing yet? Have I not found my thing? Or am I just not good at anything? Or am I just mediocre at a lot of things, but like, that's not enough, And then I'm like, but who's saying that it's not enough? So it's this whole cyclical question rabbit hole thing that you end up going down. But I would encourage you, as much as we want to look at the numbers and subscribers and the things, when we come back to what are the things that are making us happy, filling our soul, filling our cup, all that kind of stuff. If we strip it all down in a way, who do we want to talk to? What do we want to share with them? And could we find that successful and be happy with it, even if, you didn't have a ton of people watching. Now I know Pixelpia feels that way. She's like, I don't really care if a lot of people are watching. This is a hobby. I'm not trying to make it my full-time career, which we had talked about before. Nothing wrong with not wanting to have something be the money-making catch-all, makes all of my money per month type of thing. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with, I want to do this as a hobby and I've got my full-time thing on the side, or you know what I mean? This is my side thing and I've got a full-time job. Nothing wrong with that. But that person has internalized and kind of set up for themselves what success looks like, right? And so if we haven't done that for ourselves, or, you know, perhaps it's time that we sat in a quiet area and we said, all things, you know, out there, and there were no other humans and I'm on an island by myself. Is this what I want to be doing? Is this what I want to be talking about? Or is it not? Or is it something else, right? And so I would encourage you to maybe take a look at that and kind of understand, like, where am I putting this feeling, or like, why am I making myself feel like this? Or is it some sort of reflection of what I think other people are thinking of me? So let's see, do what I did. Decide that this is your baby and you will not kill, and you will start something new to do that. Put all your energy there. And then when you need to just chat, do a live here. Oh, were you saying kill this channel? Decide that this is your baby that you will not kill. You're saying this YouTube channel is my baby that I will not kill. What would you attempt if you knew that you could not fail? You know, Business Growth Ready, I know your face. That is a new username. I feel like you used to be some other username. Maybe something in real estate? Is that correct? Let me know if you're still here and that is correct. I feel like, though, you've been around for many years, maybe even in the TubeBuddy days, but I feel like it was real estate. Let me know if that's not true, though. But I was also talking to my friend Gwen. You all know. By the way, let me give you an update on that. Gwen is doing several presentations at VidCon, and I didn't want to stress her out, but she does have topics that she wants to talk about, so we will be recording them, and then we'll be putting them out. So there is that. Just FYI, we haven't forgotten. Just her schedule is a lot busier than my schedule. We'll just say that. And you're saying yes. Yeah, I mean, sometimes. I mean, it's not like I wasn't just doing lives on this channel for like an entire year or more anyway, and not doing a lot of video VODs, you know, video on demand. Real videos is what I like to call them. So I don't know. I just don't know. And every once in a while, though, it makes me wonder, especially when I see like my husband having this success, and, you know, he's 1 year in, he has X amount of growth, and I'm like 6 years in and I have X amount of growth, and I'm just like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But he's found something that not only is he super consistent at, he likes it. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I like some of the stuff that I talk about. So maybe it's a me thing that I need to work on. It's not a you thing, because y'all have been rocking with me for many, many years, and I appreciate you, even though I don't even know sometimes if I actually bring you value. I hope that I do. I hope that, like, talking out loud with y'all on certain topics can help you ask yourself better questions every once in a while. And that's why I appreciate the ones of you that are here, because I know that you've been with me for so long and you know me so well. So I appreciate you all. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, my husband has promised me, because we didn't get to have our date night. We usually try and go out to dinner, or, you know, just hang out together at least once a week. But we didn't get to do that last night because I was substitute teaching for the dance team that I'm on. So we're doing it tonight. And so I'm super excited. So I'm going to go eat some yummy food. And I won't be putting it on my table for 2 channel because, you know, that doesn't exist anymore. But I might still take a little photo. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram. Remember the days of just posting what we ate on Instagram? Maybe I'm going to bring that back. So, and you know what? I am going to try and change my attitude a little bit about Instagram, because there is a lot to like about it. And I'm just being a little brat. And my own negative self-talk is making it so that I don't want to use it. But in truth, I can just use it the way I want to, not the way that like everyone expects you to, right? Michael, that's it. Michael, Oh, you know what? It was Real Estate Mac Command was one of them from the TubeBuddy days, but I do remember your face, but I know it was a different username. So yeah, Michael Hawley. Yeah, I know I recognize your face though. Hey, James Pruitt, good to see ya. I am going to enjoy my date night. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. Please drop a thumbs up on your way out, and please do me a favor. Drop a comment on this live stream once it posts on what kind of videos that you would like to see, because I'd actually like to make some stuff you actually want to watch. All right, can you please do that for me? I'd appreciate it. Have a great night. I was gonna do like a random like kiss off, but then I was like, I don't do that, and I don't want to like mess up my lipstick, so it became real awkward, and then I explained it, which just made it even weirder, and I wish I hadn't done any of that. Okay, bye.